Terraria, a game about digging, exploring, and most notably, fighting. Each boss has its own charm and gimmick in its boss fight, whether that be the Eater of Worlds splitting into smaller pieces of the boss, or Moonward containing several parts you must defeat before opening the core. But ever since I picked up the game and learned more about summoning bosses, I wondered why. I mean, it makes sense, we're committing a freaking ritual to summon a giant eyeball by saying, "Hey, I got your child," and vaporizing it in front of its face. I'd be pretty pissed off too. But let's take it back a bit, maybe I'm looking too much into it. There is evidence some bosses have a reason to fight you, primarily being the Empress of Light tweaking out when you kill Prismatic Lacewing. So I, Solar Moon, will be trying to explain why I think every boss fights you in Terraria. If you enjoy original content like this, it's all I do, so subscribe and join the ride. Right then, let's get into it. A lot of summon items are just miniature versions of the boss they summon, which I don't quite understand. What exactly are we holding? A slimy crown costs 20 gel and a crown, and it suddenly disappears. 10 bars of gold or platinum suddenly vanishes, but I like to see it as holding a makeshift slime hostage since they seem to be purely gel anyways. Is Frankensteining a slime and giving it a crown a bit of a stretch? Maybe, but as a king you care about your subjects. The Eye of Cthulhu I feel is the most simple since you're holding up a retina that looks very similar to the Servant of Cthulhu, so we're basically just making a child out of peeled eyes and holding it like we're from Lion King. Honestly, justified. The Eater of Worlds is actually pretty self-explanatory since the summon item is literally called worm food, so we use it to lure out the eater and beat it senseless. The brain on the other hand is weird since it's a bloody spine, but the brain also has a bloody spine. Maybe there's some voodoo magic going on and I accidentally gave the brain scoliosis, hence why this spine is hunched like a shrimp. Well, when it was resprited, the brain stood up straight though. For both evil bosses, I think it's justified they get mad after you break 3 hearts or orbs. Think of it like little cousins making a mess in your room, but you only step in when something breaks. Skeletron is in the same ballpark as Eater, the reason is in our face. We gotta take down the curse known as Skeletron to get remotely close to the dungeon. Just as a bonus, I'll include the Dungeon Guardian, and say it's a specter of the curse that mindlessly tries to kill you. Queen Bee breaks larva, so you have chosen death. Deer Klepso is extremely petty. According to the Don't Starve wiki, Deer Kleps intentionally tries to destroy all of your buildings and will literally wait to jump you when you come back to your house. This man is waiting to jump you at your own house. That's crazy. And the Wall of Flesh is the guardian of the world. It's not explicitly said the guide is the Wall of Flesh other than the one splash text in the Terraria window, but it's obvious that the wall acts as the guardian once you learn some more and you're actually the bad guy. But that's for a future video. Queen Slime is surprisingly very different from King Slime because you have to find the summon itself, craft it, which not too many bosses make you do. I can't really think of a reason that isn't an asshole, so I'll just say it's because the gelatin crystal is giving off really bad energy. Energies are related to crystals, right? The mech bosses are all the same since they're canonically built by the mechanic. As for their programming, it's not explicitly said the mechanic programmed them, but like, let's be honest here, they're just built to be demons. This one isn't an asshole either, it's true. You can get the random status messages for each one, so it's as if it's hunting you down. Plantera is probably passively living in the jungle until some goon tries to collect one of her bulbs as decoration, but it does seem the bulb is living, so technically we kill the plant? I'm not sure, but it seems the two have a special connection since Plantera can tell when you kill one and hunt you down after. This reasoning might be the most interesting thing about Golem's fight, so are you ready? Golem doesn't spawn off screen like other bosses, he literally appears in front of you out of nowhere. Hey, all I got to work with is Altar and Power Cell. Don't those two pieces of technology seem pretty contradictory for their times? The Power Cell drops from random enemies in the temple, not just any enemy like mechanical summons. Golem is a sun deity, kinda like me but worse, and came to life because of the Power Cell. You could argue the technology was mysterious and ahead of their time, sure, but how did Golem appear? Did temple blocks come together like freaking Bumblebee? With the lizard's master builders? But again, the altar doesn't just work in the temple, it works anywhere, making it more confusing. And for all of these reasons, I'm out. Duke Fishron is really just a hungry boy, and apparently we turn him into sushi. Empress of Light, as I said, just doesn't like when you kill one of her innocent lacewings. I get that, they look quite nice. The lunatic cultist is minding his own business. I mean, they're a cult, but nothing happens until you kill all of them, in which their life essence merges with the mysterious tablet to summon a guy that's been trying to keep the Eldritch God sealed away. My memory might be foggy if lunatic cultist is trying to summon or seal Moonward, but it doesn't matter, you progress by killing all of them. If you let them be, Moonward would never spawn, unless you have that one friend. And Moonward. Since he's an Eldritch deity, he just wants to watch the world burn, that's really it. Yeah, some of these reasons were legitimate, and some of these had me spreading misinformation on the internet. But in general, this was a more in-depth guide than they're all malicious, or because they can. Let me know what you think, and if I should do a calamity version. This was kind of fun to make. Until next time.